Have you ever seen these kinds of shots on Instagram? I follow a few gear channels and they seem to post them all the time and they always seem to do really well. I've done a few myself before and they also seem to do really well, way better than anything else I post. I do quite like them, they're super creative. They're kind of like a behind the camera POV mode. So I wanted to do a tutorial on how you can take these kinds of shots because they're a lot harder to take than they look. I'm going to explain to you how I do them. There's two methods that I use. You can pick whichever you want, they both work. And we'll go over and tell you how you can take those kinds of shots too. A few pointers before we get going. You are going to need two cameras. The reason being you are shooting a picture of a camera. Now I guess you could substitute this with your phone if you wanted to shoot your phone screen instead, but personally I like the hand in the shot holding the camera. I like that perspective myself, so I need two cameras to be able to do this. You want to do it on an overcast day, a day where there's not a lot of bright sunlight. Reason being is the back of the screen's quite reflective, and if you get any bright sun on there, you're pretty much going to ruin your shot. So an overcast day, which is actually the best day to shoot for photos and video anyway, because you've got no sun, you've got no shadows, and everything's like a big matte box. So overcast day is what you want. You are gonna need a tripod. Doesn't matter whether it's a cheap one, doesn't matter whether it's an expensive one. As long as it's a tripod, it can hold your camera sturdy, without movement, you're good. You're probably gonna want something nice to go around the edge of the image. And what I mean by that is the background. The main part of the image is gonna be the camera here, but obviously you're gonna be able to see around that sometimes too. So you don't want like your bathroom in it or something like that. Something pleasing to the eye. You're gonna wanna shoot these in RAW, like every other photo you take. It just gives you so much more flexibility. You can play around with settings after the fact. If your exposure is slightly off, you can compensate for that. Just shoot in RAW. Also, all these are done in camera. I'm not superimposing images. I'm not showing you or teaching you how to superimpose the images onto the back of the screen there. Everything we're taking is live, is being shown on the screen. That's my way I like of doing it. I like it to be natural and authentic. First, you know sometimes how hard it is to get the composition of your image right. Trying to obey the rule of thirds. You see all these lead-in lines, you're trying to get everything matched up, you want some symmetry in there, got to make sure things are centered. So you're actually going to be doing that twice, which makes it obviously a lot harder. You're taking an image of a camera and there's kind of two moving parts involved there. When you move this camera around, it's coming out of the framing of the other image, and what you're taking a picture of or previewing on the screen here, which the other camera is taking a picture of, is moving around as well. So it's kind of a fine balance between moving this camera around slightly to get it perfectly in shot for this, but also making sure that what you're viewing on the screen here is lined up too. And this is another reason why you want that tripod, because imagine if you were doing it both handheld, it's just gonna be a disaster. It's not gonna be easy. So lock that one on a tripod. And you wanna make sure that what's showing on the screen here is looking good, and it's not angled weird, it's not off center, it's not an angle, because you can't just correct this image after because you're taking a picture of the screen. I hope that makes sense. So I've got the A6400 here, which is shooting this setup, and then the A7 III is what I'm going to be using to actually physically take the shot, and then I'm going to be using my phone to mimic where I'd normally hold the camera, just because I'm not bougie and I don't have 3 cameras. All right, I've also got the GoPro going on here, so you can see, hopefully from my angle, how this looks. So you can see the shot that we've got going on just down here is of the tree, this tree here. And the first thing that we're gonna do, we need to center up the tree in this, my phone, which would be a camera if you're using a camera, or you can use a phone too, or a GoPro, whatever you want. So get that so it's lined up nicely centered. And then once you've got it centered on here, you're then gonna get it centered on the camera. So it's gonna be a lot of lining up. Once that's done, you can get ready to take your shot. I'm using an f5.6. If I'm using anything less than that, you might blur out too much of the background. You can't see what's going on around and it just loses a little bit of the focus. So, phone is centered on the tree first. So get this shot looking good. Then try and center up on here. And then go ahead and take a shot. Looks pretty good. Let's try a little bit further away. Nice. So you're going to see a lot of this is lining up first this, and then once you've lined up this, you might find that this one's a little bit off, so it's a lot of doing that. Normally the first shot won't work, it's going to be quite a few before you get it how you want it. Let's do it once more, a little bit further away. So line up the shot on here first, then line up the shot on here, make sure it's framed, check again on here quickly that it's all good, and take the shot. That's one method. So if you have a monitor, You could obviously stand to the side and do it this way if you want to, but then you're kind of moving your phone and it's not moving as easy on here. So it's easier to stand with this directly in front of the camera and you behind. The other method that you can do, set a self-timer on the camera, I'd say either 5 seconds, probably even 10 seconds, then put your phone in front, focus it by depressing the shutter a little bit, then push it. You then have 10 seconds to get it all completely framed up and hold it there. Now that takes a little bit longer, and if you mess it up, you've got to wait another 10 seconds before you do it again. So that's just a different method of doing it. We'll do it once more. So we'll get it pre-framed up on the tree there. Focus, because remember, once you depress the shutter, it's going to focus on that, and then it's going to wait 10 seconds with the focus the same. So there we go. There's that shot, and I'll flip to how that turned out. So there you go. That is real time how you'd take those kinds of shots. Hopefully this turns out in the edit. All right, back to other Chris, Studio Chris. You can cheat if you want to. You can take a picture of something when it's all framed up really nicely and then just show that picture on the preview screen and then take a picture with that. But sometimes it still won't line up and look good. So it's honestly easier just to do it authentically, have the live preview going on here, and just take the image as and when everything kind of matches up and lines up. On the back of the camera that you're going to be taking the image of, make sure your screen brightness is set to the maximum. Even if it's a bright sunny day out there, sometimes these screens can be harder to see. If you have the screen set to the brightest setting, it's going to be easier to show up in the camera. Don't worry if it's not hugely bright. You can always edit it in post and bring it up a little bit. You can mask the area of the screen, feather out the edges and bring it up a little bit, or if you need to, you can bring it down a little bit too. So don't worry too much, but I would say by just putting on the maximum brightness setting to begin with, it just makes the image look nicer straight out of the camera. So there we go. That is how to take these, I don't know what to call these kinds of shots. I don't even know what their official name is, if they do have an official name. POV camera shots, behind the lens, I honestly don't know. If you know, pop it down below. I don't think they actually have a name though, to be honest. Now I am actually very interested in seeing what you guys can all do with this. You can get very creative with these kinds of shots, and the opportunities are probably endless. So I'm interested to see what you guys can do. So please, if you take any of these shots, tag me in them. Here is my Instagram if you don't already follow me, just here. So get out there, get creative, and I'm looking forward to seeing what you guys can all do with this. If you like this video today, then just go ahead and do whatever you want. You can thumbs up, you can subscribe, what is that? Subscribe if you want to, and all those other things that we all demand you to do every single week that I'm sure probably not a lot of people do. If you want to like a video or you want to subscribe to a channel, you're doing it because you want to, not because I'm demanding you to do it and then you're doing it. Yeah, I mean, that's how I feel at least. I'm sure you all feel the same. All right, appreciate you watching today. I'll catch you guys all in the next video. See you later. In all seriousness, you better like and subscribe. I'm just kidding, you can do whatever you want. Or am I? Maybe I won't make a video next week. Actually, I probably will. I've got 2 already filmed, just got to edit them, so. All right, see you later. Oh, this chair does not roll. I tell you what, having a flip screen is hugely useful. Loving the A6400 so far. I will say as well, quickly looking at the footage afterwards, nice little belly on this with this sweater. Doesn't look good. Time to go to the gym. See you guys later.